Welcome back. Happy Wednesday, where I am. But it's Thursday where you guys are, but it's Wednesday. But it's Thursday. Anyway, it's Wednesday. So let me just say that. Happy Wednesday where I am. Hope you guys are doing good and amazing, doing very, very well. I have seen some of my teams have been playing like some preseason games. I think Melbourne played theirs like this past weekend and stuff like that. I'm not sure if it's on YouTube. I probably should check it out because we are getting close to that time. But as always, shout out to my dog Caleb for the video. All credit goes to him. The last game. I'm talking about like the absolute last game of these AFL legends. Now we are going to see how these guys have ended their careers. Was it in heartbreak? Was it in glory? Or were you like Mr. Kennedy here for West Coast and which you lose? But since you are a legend of the football club, you get to walk off on the shoulders of your great teammates. But anyway, we are finna check it out. We are finna see what's on. Don't forget to like the video and sub as well. Missed you guys, man. I really do miss you guys, man. Can't wait for the season. Should be a good, fun season as always, man. I am looking forward to it. But you guys, let me know you guys predictions down below. It can be one prediction, two prediction, three predictions. But you guys let me know you guys just prediction about the upcoming season, which player is going to stand out to you guys, which team. Is there something specific that's going to happen? You guys let me know in the comments down below. Outside of that, man, let's get it.
Some players retire with farewells from fans, a lap of honour around the MCG, and celebrating premierships. Some retire with injury and bad performances. And some play their last game not knowing that this was where it would all come to an end. These 8 AFL legends have won a total of 18 premierships and appeared in 176 finals games.
Jeez.
Here are their last games in the AFL.
And you know how respect that is if you have the opposing player helping you on your shoulder, carrying you off. That's the ultimate respect, man. That is the ultimate
Gary
respect.
Ablett Jr.
I am mad about that.
Towards the end of his career, Ablett was in his mid-30s, which limited his production on the field. He averaged just 15 disposals for Geelong in his final year, fighting through injuries that only allowed him to play just 12 games in the home and away season.
Jeez.
Even though he wasn't fully healthy, the little master still wanted to play in the finals, and he got the opportunity that year when Geelong made it all the way to the 2020 Grand Final. He played just 5 minutes before he broke his shoulder and effectively ended his legendary career. Ablett didn't even score in his final game. Luke Hodge.
But he still played though.
Most people retire once, but
that's an awful way
did
to
it
end,
2 times. The first time in 2017 after Hawthorn failed to make the finals. Realising that retirement isn't as fun as playing in the AFL, Hodge was ready to get back on the field in 2018. He wasn't Mr. September anymore, and he couldn't defend like he used to, but he was still good enough to average 18 disposals in the final 2 seasons he played with the Brisbane Lions. However, once he broke 35, it was time to retire for good, leaving the game as the only number 1 draft pick to win a Norm Smith medal. Speaking of records, the Brisbane Lions had an excellent one in 2019, finishing second on the ladder in his final season. So everybody was left surprised that Hodge's last AFL game would come in Brisbane's semi-final against Toby Green and the GWS Giants that same year. Luckily for Lions fans, they got to witness a pretty good all-around performance from Hodgie. In the game itself, he picked up 22 disposals, 5 marks and a tackle, while playing 81% time on the ground.
He went crazy.
Sadly for Hodgie, Brisbane ended up losing the game 83-80 to the eventual grand finalists.
Of course, losing in the semifinals again. It was godly. Jeez, man. The semifinal, the grand final. Ugh. I hate it. That sucks.
Lee Matthews.
Sucks.
In the 1985 season,
Matthews a legend.
Averaged 13 disposals, 4 marks and nearly 3 goals a game at 64% accuracy. Now these stats are far from what Matthews used to average in his prime. He was an absolute beast. In 1975, Lethal Lee won that year's Coleman medal whilst averaging 22 disposals a game. It was his alternating position between the Hawks midfield and forward line that allowed him to do this. Matthews was able to lead Hawthorn to 4 premierships in 1971, 1976, 1978 and 1983.
Jeez.
In his last season, Matthews had the help of Dermot Brereton, Gary Buckenara, and Jason Dunstall.
They were
All
stacked.
of which led the Hawks to the 1985 Grand Final against Tim Watson's Essendon side, who they'd lost to in the previous year's Grand Final. This time, history repeated itself.
Dang.
In his last game, Matthews left the field with 14 disposals, 5 marks and a goal, but he couldn't stop Hawthorn from smashing his team by 78 points. Sadly for Lethal Lee, straight after he left the club, the Hawks went on to win 2 grand finals in quick succession.
That's just the worst. That is the absolute worst. Of course, when you freaking retire, your team goes ahead and wins. Was it Lee's fault? No, I don't think so. It was just old age. But the thing we've noticed with like Hodge, Matthews, and Abbott of like their disposal like 12, 13, 14. It's not really a lot of like disposal stuff like that compared to like the 20s, the 30s, 40s, whatever stuff like that. So you can kind of see like with the age, they weren't as like effective as they were, which is obvious because when guys are old, like they can't do the things
1986
that they could have, done
1988.
before.
Wayne Carey.
The
last AFL game Carey ever played was in Adelaide's round 12 game against West Coast in 2004. Carey was 33 at the time, and he was hampered with a knee injury that limited him to only 12 home and away games. Despite that, he still averaged 10 disposals, 2 goals, and 5 marks a game, but failed to add any more accolades to his star-studded 15.
Hold up, so I said like 20, 30 disposals. What's the average disposals per game? I think it's like 30. Like around it, like between 20 to 30, I think. You guys let me know in the comments down below. I feel like I should know that though.
Career. Sadly for Carey, the Crows
that
team, who finished the season in 12th place, failed to come anywhere close to the Eagles at Subiaco. Even with Carey in his prime, the Crows still would have struggled to beat the Eagles, who went on to feature in the following year's Grand Final and win a premiership the year after.
That's when the Eagles were fine.
But during the game against the Eagles, Carey received a neck injury so bad that he had to meet with a neurosurgeon, and that effectively ended his career. As shortly after the match, Carey announced his retirement from the game. Lance Franklin.
Buddy.
All throughout 2022, there was huge speculation that Buddy would retire at the end of the season. The man was 35 years old, but just 5 days before Sydney's grand final against Geelong, Buddy announced that he was re-signing with the Swans for another year. But after the Cats thumped Sydney by 81 points, Buddy admitted that he had the urge to leave the game for good, after having a poor performance in the grand final.
At least he knew.
He'd reached the 1,000-goal milestone, won 2 Coleman medals, and most importantly, 2 premierships. Everyone knew 2023 was Franklin's last season. The Swans weren't great that year, and Buddy averaged 9 disposals and only 1.5 goals per game, far from his 4.5 goals in 2008. After gathering 3 disposals, taking 2 marks and going scoreless, Franklin was taken from the field close to half-time after complaining of tightness in his calf. At least the Swans were able to get the win for him. Gary Ablett Sr. While Geelong fans were watching the last game of Gary Ablett Sr.'s career, they had no idea that it was his last game. Ablett, who was only 28 at the time, entered the Cats finals campaign after a mediocre 1996 season. He had a chance to win his first premiership after playing in 4 grand finals and losing all of them.
Oof.
He finally showed signs that he was beginning to slow down. In 1996, Ablett only kicked 69 goals from 17 games. In Geelong's qualifying final against North Melbourne, Ablett struggled. He did manage 13 disposals, 3 marks and a goal, but that wasn't enough, as the Kangaroos won by 60 points.
Yeah, my disposals thing was way off.
When a young 29-year-old Ablett announced he was retiring because of personal reasons and his loss of enjoyment for the game.
It'd be like that.
Jason Dunstall. Dunstall had a very long AFL career and was extremely good even into his 30s. The Hawks had won 4 grand finals during Dunstall's stint with them. The Hawks finished the 1998 season in 13th place, missing out on the finals, and so Dunstall, who would turn 34 during that season, went on live TV 1 week before the Hawks' final home and away match against Fremantle to declare that he was gone from the game, for good. It was his first game since a broken collarbone in round 14 against Carlton. Dunstall's 17 goals 5 against Richmond in 1992 is the second highest goal tally ever, and there was nobody who went out and kicked bags of goals every week like the Chief did. He was just so reliable. In his farewell game, Dunstall picked up 9 disposals, 2 marks and 2 goals, and the Hawks honoured him with an incredible 89-point win and a 69-point final term. Tony Lockett. In 1999, after Sydney lost to Essendon in that year's qualifying final by a massive 69 points, Lockett left the field in what many thought to be his last game. I mean, he'd announced...
That's not who I think it is. That mustache is crazy. That's a stash. That is a stash. I know, you guys saw that. I was lucky touching the beard, not the stash. Shh. That stash is crazy.
Lockett left the field in what many thought to be his last game. I mean, he'd announced 4 weeks earlier that he would retire at the season's end. Lockett was 33 at the time, so it wasn't anything out of the ordinary. But Sydney fans rejoiced when Lockett appeared on the field for Sydney's round 1 clash with Brisbane in 2002, 3 years later. He'd next played round 10 before his final game against Geelong in round 12. Lockett ended his career the same way he started it. A close loss to Geelong in front of a 20,000 strong crowd.
Jeez.
Although he ended the game with only 2 disposals, 2 tackles and a mark, Plugger was able to kick a goal.
Plugger.
He brought the SCG house down. The same place where he kicked an after the siren point against the Bombers to put Sydney into the 1996 grand final. An amazing end to the career of arguably the greatest forward to ever play the game.
Yeah, facts. Tony Lockett hard, bro. Tony Lockett is hard. I will tell you that. Shout out Tony Lockett for real. But the man, the myth, the legend. All these guys were great in terms of what they did and stuff like that. Really, really enjoyed it. These guys are great. But it is kind of see how, like, you know, obviously injuries do play a part in these guys' career. Especially Gary Ablett, like, the way he ended, sucks. 28, 29, and, you know, basically ended like injuries and just other stuff going on. But, I mean, the Abletts are freaking phenomenal in AFL. AFL lore, AFL greatness right there. That's greatness. But if you guys did enjoy the videos, always don't forget to like the video and sub as well. Take care. Stay amazing, boys and girls. Peace.